Welcome to my tree. I've changed it from the Christmas ornamentation to everything about love and song. I got little birds all through there singing. And now, speaking of singing, come with me. I'll try not to sing to you, it might be offensive. I want you to see something that I gave myself as a present. Did you give yourself something as a present this year? It's a good way to get what you really want. I got a dreamscape or dream scenes or art scenes or whatever you want to call the little gadget that you plug in to the side of the port, and you get images of art to enjoy. I love that. And one of the things I love about art are pictures of people reading. And this particular one is by a French painter. I know I'm going to say his name wrong, but it's something like Berthe Manasat. Oh, may he forgive me and rest in peace. But anyway, this is a picture, and as a model, he used his sister. I love that. That's Edma. So there's Edma. He also did one of his mom and his sister together where the mother is reading to her. And I love the community of that thought. And another place I fell in love with painted people reading was through the work of one of my favorite artists, Winslow Homer. I didn't know he was a favorite of mine, but I kept falling in love with prints that I saw in different places that I went to. One was a restaurant, and there was one of his prints, but I didn't know his name at that time, of two men in a boat fishing. And my dad and brother were both fishermen. So it really rang some personal notes inside of me. That's a wonderful thing about paintings. You can look at the painting, and as you kind of investigate it, it settles inside of you somewhere in your memory bank, in a certain moment with a certain person, and it can deepen the meaning of it for you. But what helps you get an accurate portrayal of what's going on in a picture is to investigate. I'm a curious person. Now, sometimes that can be said nosy, but I'm nosy in a really good way, which I think is then curiosity. And one of the ways that I kind of settle my curiosity down is through investigating in books about different artists, about different paintings, about different parts of history. And I can do that online as well, read all the articles they have and see, even visit some of the museums now online. I think that's fascinating, and they give you printed histories. I think it is enriching to do that, and it's interesting for me. Not only does art remind me of people like my dad and my brother, or myself with an open book, but it reminds me of the value of reading. There was a time when it wasn't appropriate for young women to read anything except their school books. And prior to that, it wasn't even allowed for young women to read their school books. They weren't to be trained. So when we broke through that kind of thinking into the school, then the next thing was to break through that we had the right to have a choice if we wanted to read a novel. Winslow Homer does a great picture of a young woman, and you see her here. It really infuriated him that young women were not allowed to make their choices in their reading material. So he did everything he could in his art to make it an acceptable practice. And here is a young girl on her way home, so excited about the new novel she just got her hands on, that she doesn't even get all the way home. She just spreads right out with a little knapsack for her head to read that book. Loved that picture. Loved to know that he was a forerunner in helping to break through for women in their choices of reading. I have this passion for his work, and I'll show you. This is a picture of a copy of a print of Winslow Homer. I didn't know for years after it hung in my home that it was the same artist who had done the men fishing in the boat or had done the girl lying down to read. So it was real fun when I got the thread that tied it all together. So I began, every museum I went to, the first thing I did was I looked for Winslow Homer's art. And then I began studying his life. So I found it very interesting, the whole journey, and I would not have learned what I did if I didn't have both a curiosity and access to books. My library has spilled over all over my house. I have stacks of books everywhere. I've even got a bucket full of books right here. In fact, I have several bucketfuls because I love to go through them and read and learn. I think that's what ignited the joy in me to start the book club. And it's one that is once a month, and we send you a lovely little package with 1 or 2 books or a book and a small gift for you to read, and then you can join in discussion on a special Facebook page that I have. You don't have to read the book if you're too busy. I promise you, you can come in and just listen to the chitter chatter and learn a great deal about it. And one of the things that's most fun for me about the book club is I get to interview the author. This past month, actually last week, I talked and interviewed with Beth Moore. What fun, what a treasure she is to women and to men. But most of in fact, I would say all of our club are girls, ladies, women. And we gather for the purpose of not only satisfying our curiosity, but nurturing goodness in our heart. We'd love for you to be a part of that if you'd like to. So just know you're welcome, and we'd love for y'all to come, satisfy your curiosity, expand your world in a number of different ways as we chat together. God bless.